Hello, good evening, Khoi. Hello. Hello, can you hear me, Khoi?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. And you?
I'm good too. What did you do today?
What is? Can you speak again?
Yeah, what did you do today?
Um, Nothing special, just as you today.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And
were you able um to what is this one? Were you able to improve your writing? Because we were able to had last time this particular essay that you need to develop. So were you able to develop that one based on the given questions that we have? Have you um, rewrite and improve a little,
I
or
think
you weren't?
I'm good.
Okay, no problem. Okay. But before we have to continue our lesson and improve when it comes to writing, I'm going to show you a video. It's all about 7 ways to improve English writing skills. That includes the IELTS. Okay. Although this one is a British English based on or adapted in British English, but we can be able to get something out from this. Okay. But I know you can be able to understand with this one because the girl that is speaking is not usually speak in what is this one in a slang language. Okay, so you can be able to understand and follow what she says. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let me share with you the video now. Can you hear that? Okay.
Hello everyone and welcome back to English with Lucy. Today I've got a video that I've never really done before. I've never really spoken about writing as far as I know. So this one has been highly requested. I know a lot of you are doing your IELTS exams. So I have got 7 top tips that are going to help you improve your writing. Quickly, before we get started, I'd just like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Lingoda. Lingoda is an amazing online language academy. They don't just teach English, they also teach Spanish, German, and French. You can subscribe to Lingoda on a monthly package basis, and you will gain access to a combination of both group and private video lessons with real, qualified native teachers. It's actually highly relevant to this video because you really ideally want somebody to check through your writing. So in your private lessons on Lingoda, you can mention that you'd like them to look at your writing, and that's what you can focus on for that lesson. Lingoda has given all English with Lucy subscribers a special discount. You can get $50 or €50 off your first month at Lingoda. All you have to do is click on the link in the description box and apply this code at checkout. Let's get started with the lesson. So my first tip for improving your writing is keep it simple. Now I know this seems really, really obvious, but I always say to my students, simple done accurately is better than complicated done inaccurately. In other words, it's
O-
better to keep things simple.
Okay. Koi, I have to stop with this particular presentation. Why? Okay, the first tip that she can be able to give us would be this one. So would you kindly read the this one, the orange one? Keep it.
Keep it simple.
Yes. That means
That means simple done accurately is better than complicated done inaccurately.
okay. Now what does it mean when we say keep it simple? So we're writing, okay, whether it's an essay, whether it's a text. So we should have to keep our writings simple. Just what I have told you before, right? In order for us to persuade in order for us to get the attention of our readers, we should have to focus to the most simple words. Okay? That means we have to do this one simply but accurately. So that is what we call simple or keep it simple. It says in here, simple than accurately is better than complicated than inaccurately. So meaning if you use a very difficult words maybe, but you need to explain that, okay, in order for the readers to understand, because if you cannot able to explain them or that on your essay, so the readers will going to think or will going to find that one, so they will going to spend a lot of time doing that or reading your essay. But if you explain that, okay, in your essay, okay, so that would become simpler to your reader. Okay, Koi. So again, tip number one, keep it
Simple.
simple. Okay, next.
And do it well rather than overcomplicate everything and do it badly.
Mhm.
So, in English writing exams, you want to show off your English, but you want to show off your accurate English,
Yes.
not all this English that you don't know or haven't learnt yet.
Yeah.
Now, that leads me on to point number 2. In order to avoid making mistakes in your writing, it's a really, really good idea to have a collection of set
Yeah.
phrases and keywords that you can use in that exam. So, my tip number 2 is prepare key phrases. Now, you do have to be careful with this. You don't want to rehearse what you're going to write, but you do want to have a nice selection of things that you could possibly say if the time arises. Now, especially on the IELTS exam,
Mm.
and I know a lot of you are studying for this, but this really goes for any academic writing exam, you want to have linking words and key phrases prepared. Now, I'm going to give you a list with 2 examples for each point. It doesn't cover everything that you need to know, but if you study everything in the list, you will be much, much more prepared for your English writing exam. So pay attention, and if there's any point that you think, I really could expand on that, go and do your research and prepare yourself. You want to make sure that you have a variety of different ways to compare in the same way,
Mm.
at the same time, contrast, on the contrary, however, give examples. For instance, to illustrate, give your opinion. From my perspective, from my point of view, generalize, overall, all things considered, to express certainty, undoubtedly, of course, to express partial agreement, in a way, to some extent, to show cause, owing to, due to show effect. For this reason, consequently, to mark time, to begin with, following this, to add information, furthermore, moreover, to express condition, unless, provided that, and to conclude, in summary, in short.
Mm.
So that's just a very brief list showing you exactly what you need to study to be fully prepared for any English writing exam. Now, point number 3, and definitely, definitely, definitely for academic writing, i.e. English tests or university pieces, do not use contractions.
Mm.
Or is that don't use contractions? So, cannot to can't, do not to
Oh.
don't, shall not to shan't,
Mm.
I am to I'm. These are
Uh,
all examples of contractions, and in your
Yeah.
writing,
Okay. Look at this one, Koi. Okay. So according to tip number three, do not use contractions. Okay. But in okay, I don't know. I don't know if this one is different, okay? If the IELTS is different from the United Kingdom, okay? Or from the British English, okay? But I don't know, it's also different in American English, okay? But in them, they particularly point out that do not use contractions. But in our lessons, we do advise to use contractions, right?
Yes.
Okay. But of course, even if you are using contractions, even you're not using contractions, still the thought is still the same. Okay? So maybe this one is in the United Kingdom, so they're not accepting if you use contractions. But maybe in Vietnam, it could be accepted. I don't know. Okay? It could be, but because it was already in the lesson, it was already in the topic, that's why we need to follow that one. Because maybe that would be a guide, okay, that would be that is happening there in Vietnam if you are going to take the IELTS exam. Okay?
Oh,
So this one is from the United Kingdom. So maybe this one is not applicable in Vietnam. Okay?
okay.
Okay, let's continue.
Exams, you want to avoid these. I know that you guys really, really, really want to keep your word count down because
Mm,
you are restricted and you want to show off as much as you possibly can. But I've got lots of tips for reducing your word count coming up, so make sure that you do not feel tempted to include contractions in your
mm.
academic writing. So, tip number 4, reduce your word count. Use as few words
Okay.
as possible.
Um, I should have to wait. I have to go back with this one. Okay, using contractions. Now, let me ask you a question, Koi. What do you think would be the best, on your own point of view, huh? Because you are the one who's going to take the IELTS, right? So, which do you think would be more easy, using contraction or those you are not using contractions?
I think we do not use contraction because if we use contraction, our essay looks more formal.
Okay, so it's better for you not to use contractions, right?
Yes, the one.
Okay, so now, at this point in time, okay, so we are going to follow this tip. So starting now, you are not going to use contraction anymore, okay? Although contracted and those who are not contracted is also just the same because the thought is also the same, right?
Yes.
Okay, but we have to follow maybe this particular advice. Why? Because this one is coming from the native English country. This one is from the United Kingdom, right?
Yes.
Right. So maybe actually the one who does the exam, okay, was of course coming from the educators coming from the native English. Okay, the IELTS exam was made by native English, and those who are native English is coming from Americans coming from the United Kingdoms, okay, or kingdom. So they are the one who made that exam. Okay, so therefore maybe starting today we will not going to use contraction anymore. Okay,
Okay.
okay, maybe in writing. Okay, in writing, but maybe in speaking we can use that, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay, but in writing, please do not use contractions. Okay, so let's move on, Koi.
Or word count. Use as few words as possible.
Mm,
Completely contradictory because I've just told you that you should not.
Hey everyone, this is Coach Jermaine,
wait,
and I'm inviting you to attend my
there's
Forex trading
a
workshop totally for
advertisement. Okay,
Become a data analyst
sorry.
in 7 months with Refocus and find your first job in IT.
Okay.
Not use contractions, but I've got some really, really good mini tips within this big tip to help you keep your word count down and your English level up. The first one is avoid these dead weight words like very, so, a lot,
Mm,
really. I have mentioned this before in a video, but if you want to show off your English, avoid these. They're pointless. They are empty calories in English.
mm.
Replace them instead with a strong word. So instead of saying really happy, I would say I am elated.
Oh,
Instead of saying so scared, I would say
terrified.
terrified.
Yeah,
Okay? So by
More.
using
terrified.
strong words and avoiding these boring words,
Yeah.
you can reduce your word count by a fair bit. Now, another way to really reduce your word count, but really improve the quality of your writing, is avoiding there is and
There
there are.
are.
We want
Oh,
everything to be as clear as possible, and sometimes there is and there are can act as fillers.
fillers
They add extra words to
to
our
our
sentences.
sentences.
So I'm going to give you an example so you can see this and bear it in mind next time you're doing an academic piece of writing. Sentence 1. There are many problems
That
that
we
we may
encounter.
encounter. There are many problems that we may encounter.
Yeah.
Sentence 2. We may encounter many problems. We
Yes.
may encounter many problems. The first sentence has 8 words. The second sentence has 5
Four,
words.
5 words.
You have reduced your word count and you
Oh.
have increased the quality and the clarity of your writing. So
Okay. So let me stop with this particular, this one is very important tip, Koi, okay? So when we say reduce your word count, so in this particular tip, we should have to avoid words such as very, so, a lot, really, okay? And we have also to avoid the words there is and there are. But instead of saying them in the sentence, we just had to avoid that one. Like, for example, we have to omit that. May problems, okay. Many problems may,
Encounter.
that we may, okay. Many problems that we may encounter. So instead of using there are, because if we are going to say we may encounter many problems, it's also the same. The thought is also the same when we are saying there are. So as much as possible, because we are reducing our the so-called too worthy, right? That's why I am explaining it to you just last time that we should have to avoid too worthy essay as much as possible. If you think maybe a lot of words, and then put that in writing, and then after that one, you need to decide whether whether that particular words are very important. Okay, if less important, well, omit that. Include only the most important one. Okay, so that you may reduce the count of your words in your essay. Okay, because reducing the word too worthy um, can also not a good essay writing. Okay, if you are using too wordy words. So therefore, as much as possible, we just have to limit that one. The most important one that would be put in writing. Okay, Koi?
Yes.
Okay, next.
make sure you apply this in your next exam. Number 5. Read the right documents.
Mm,
Read the right pieces of writing. I know many of you like to read in your spare time, you like to do it for fun, and a lot of you will read books in English, which is amazing for improving your spelling and
yeah.
improving your vocabulary as well. But if you're trying to get a good score in an academic writing exam, you might not be reading the right kind of thing. Look at the
Yes.
potential pieces of writing that they're going to ask you to do. Are they asking you to write articles,
Reports,
reports,
essays.
essays? Maybe they're asking you to write all 3. If they are, read all 3. You need to go online or go to a library and read articles, read reports, read essays, read reviews. Do everything you can to familiarise yourself with all the styles of writing. Number 6 is one that you will have heard in school so many times, but I've worked as a teacher for many, many years, and I get so frustrated with silly, stupid mistakes that I know that my students know. They don't make these mistakes when they're speaking, so why do they make them when they're writing?
Yes.
So many times I've gone and I've prepared a lesson because I've seen that there are some very clear mistakes in my students' writing, and I prepare a lesson to correct this mistake. And when I go to teach it, they say, "But teacher, we already know this. This is baby stuff." And it's because they don't check their work.
Yeah.
I have a clear example of this. I used to work as a proofreader. I used to check through documents before they got sent off to publishers to make sure that they were all correct, that there was no spelling mistakes, there were no grammar mistakes, there was nothing wrong. They were all perfect. And I was amazing at doing this. I could get every single mistake just by looking at a document from a distance. I could pick out
Yes.
those errors. However, if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I make spelling and grammar mistakes all the time. Why? Because I don't check. I
Mm.
don't check my writing. I am a native English speaker and
Mm.
I make spelling mistakes. Granted, many of them are due to autocorrect on my phone, which I'm battling with, but a lot of them are my fault. And I don't check them, so I don't see them. I know when you finish an exam, you're like, oh, I'm done. I want to move on to the next question, but you can avoid
Main
so many
point
point
deductions.
deductions
Yes.
just by checking through your work. So please, please, please make it your absolute priority. I personally think it's much better if you write less and check
Mm.
more. Fewer words, higher accuracy. And
Okay,
I
I have to stop to this one, and I'm going to point this one because this one is very, very important tip, Koi. Okay, that's why I'm telling you, you have to finish early, you have to save time. Okay, instead of reading, so you just have to use a technique. So what are you going to use? You're going to use scanning, you're going to use skimming technique. Okay, so that you will going to save time. And in that time that you saved, you can be able to check your own work. Okay? Check what? You have to check the spelling, you have to check the grammar, or you need to rephrase your sentences if you do have a lot of time. Okay? If you're not satisfied with the first sentence, maybe you can rephrase that because you still have time. So, if you were given an ample time, you can be able to correct everything. You can be able to check, okay, including the spelling, including the grammar, including the structure, and everything. Okay, so that it will become perfect. Why? Because actually in writing, they're very, very strict in checking that. Specifically, um, the grammar. Okay, that's why I'm pretty sure, and I'm very, very what is one positive that I know that you are good in grammar. Okay, so put them together so that it will become a perfect writing. Okay, and do not forget the tip, okay, that you have to maximize your time. Okay, then you have to save time. Okay, and so that that time you can be able to use that in checking your own work. Do not waste your time by just reading it all throughout. Use as much as possible, use scanning, and use skimming. Okay? For you to what? For you to get the keywords so that you will not be stuck in that particular questions. Remember, you are given time limit for that. But of course, do not do not be in a hurry also, huh? You know how to limit your time. Okay? If you think this one is simple, okay, limit your time. If you are given only 10 minutes, so you are going to set your time in your mind. Okay, I'm going to finish this within only 6 minutes, and the remaining 4 minutes, I'm going to spend that for checking. Okay? So you have it's a skills again. It's a skill again in recording it to your mind that I can do this. I can finish this within 6 minutes. And you need to finish that within that period of time so that the remaining time will be used for checking. Right? Okay? So it's very important, Koi. Let's continue.
know normally I promote fluency over accuracy,
Mm.
but not in writing exams. In writing
Yes.
exams, you want perfection. Now,
Yes. Okay. Look at this one. In writing exams, you want perfection. Why? Those who are checking your writing, actually, they're very, very specific when it comes to checking, when it comes to grammar. Okay, if they have seen grammar lapses on the first sentence, they will not going to read that one on or read that one, or they will not going to finish reading your work. Why? Because they could sense that you got mistakes on the first sentence, so therefore you may got a lot of mistakes on the following sentences, right? So therefore they will just going to give you points for that. Okay. Okay. But if they found out that on the first sentence, on the second, and on the few sentences that you have, it's perfect, so they will going to read that. Okay? And then they will going to score you for that. And according to them, that would be a perfect one. Did you understand? So therefore, I want you to practice, do a lot of writings, and then make sure that you are using the structures that we had already discussed, especially the 8 parts of speech, right? What are those? The nouns, the pronouns, the verbs, the adverb, the adjective, okay? Conjunctions, interjections. So you need to what is one to review all of them, because in writing you need them. Okay, Koi? Okay.
Now, number 7 is perhaps the most relevant and the most difficult of all, especially if you're in really remote parts of the world. Number 7 is write and get it checked.
Yes.
Write and get it checked. And unfortunately, the getting it checked thing is a lot harder than it seems.
Oh, sorry.
Why are you wasting your
It's an
time on YouTube
advertisement again.
when you could be building your own online business?
So there's an easy way to get a band 7 on the IELTS exam. And as a former IELTS examiner, I'm going to
You want to write as much as possible, checking it, of course. It used to really annoy me when my students would come in with 5 essays, but I was so happy that they'd done that, but then I saw that they'd made loads and loads of stupid mistakes, and I just
Oh,
thought, oh, why didn't you check it? I'm just correcting the same thing over and over again.
yes.
But write as much as you can, check it, and then see if you can find somebody to correct it. Now, I'm not saying
Yes.
find a complete stranger. It's got to be in their interest to correct it as well. I personally think it's very unlikely that you're going to find a random teacher on the internet that will be willing to check your writing for free. However, there are lots of services and pen pal sites. If it's like a mutual exchange, if you find somebody who wants to learn your language and they can help you with your English, then you can do that. Or like I mentioned, on services such as Lingoda, and you can just have a straight hour of analysing writings that you've already done and already sent them. But I will say, especially to my younger viewers, really, really, really be careful when you're contacting people online to practice your English.
Yes.
Make sure
It's
it's a trustworthy
trustworthy.
person, because there are so many predators that want to talk
Yes.
to especially young girls to practice
Their
their English,
English.
and it doesn't actually turn out to be
English
a English
practice.
practice.
Yeah.
It turns out to be something quite different. So please, please, please be careful. If you've got the funds and if you've got the time, get a proper teacher and pay
Mm.
them to help you. It's the only way that you're going to be guaranteed the proper skills and the proper qualifications and also the proper incentive. Why would a random stranger on
The
the
internet.
internet want to help you with your writing? What's in it for them? Always think about that. Right, guys, that's it for today's lesson. Don't forget to check out Lingoda. You can take advantage of this voucher code by clicking on the link in the description and applying it at checkout when purchasing your first month subscription.
Okay. So I guess it's already done, Koi. So I have to stop that one now. And I'm going to share with you my our screen now. Okay. And I hope you were able to get tips, okay, on how to improve your writing. Okay. So were you able to get a tips? Yes or no?
I think get some because
Huh?
I keep it simple and teach him over.
Yeah, and then keep it simple and do not complicate things. Okay, So just keep it simple, and then not only just simple, but of course you have to remember also that you should write accurately. Okay, Koi? So keep it simple but accurate. Okay? And what else? Aside from keeping it simple, what do you think? Koi?
Keep it simple and check them again.
Okay, recheck. So rechecking is very important also, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
read the right material.
Yes, the right materials. So what are those right materials that it was mentioned in the video, Koi? What do you think are those?
I think we can imitate their grammar structure and in the way they write.
Yeah, actually, it was mentioned in there that you should have to do a lot of research. Like, for example, essays. So you need to read a lot of essays. You need to read articles. You need to read reports. Okay. And because those articles, those reports, and those essays can help you because in an IELTS exams, um, especially in writing, the basis, okay, the basis in answering their writing would came from, okay, from essays, from articles, from reports. Okay, so if you do have a lot of or wide background or knowledge of that particular um, text, maybe like essays, reports, and articles, of course, you have also the possibility to answer them. Okay, that's why as part of our lesson we do have a lot of readings. Okay, because maybe we don't know, maybe they will going to come out in the IELTS exam. If they would come out in the exam, wow, that would be perfect because you know how to do it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe the last one advice that I could give you is to pray that all the things that we had discussed in here would come out in the test. Although the skills is there, okay, it will come out in the test, the skills that you have learned. But all I'm saying is we don't know, right? We don't know. Maybe God will going to give you that way that one of the lessons that we had learned in here would come in the test. And you are very lucky if one of those lessons would come out in your IELTS exam. Okay, Koi?
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's try to look at this particular sample, okay, of an essay, actually, of an essay, Koi. Okay, look at this one. Let's try to analyze this one, and let's try to compare the one that you made last time. Okay? Okay,
Yes.
look at this one. Which do you think of this particular essay would be the introduction part?
The first sentence.
Okay, it's the first and the second sentences, right?
Sure.
Okay. So from family up to a big family. Now look at this one. Family life in the modern world is not the same experience as in the past. What's the guide question in here?
Write about the part.
Okay.
And
Discuss
because
whether
we
families.
were larger in the part.
Okay. Now let's try to go back in here. It was mentioned about family life in the modern world, okay? And it was also mentioned that in the modern world, it's not the same experience as in the past. And um, in this particular essay, the writer able to give just a little background because he said because families are smaller.
Order.
So it was answered, it was discussed
We
the opposite of the larger family in the past, right?
yes.
Okay. And in the past, there were advantages and disadvantages to being members of the big family. That is what I'm telling you. In this particular essay, we can find in here the thesis statement. What are those? When you say thesis statement, these are all the keywords that we need to discuss in our body. And what are those? It was mentioned in here, family life in the present and in the past. Okay? Family life, okay, a smaller or maybe a big family, right? And it was also discussed the advantages and disadvantages of being a members of a big family. Now, it was answered questions in here in just only in the introduction, right? But it was not discussed thoroughly. So where it will be discussed thoroughly? It will be discussed in the body part. Right, Khoi? Okay,
Yes.
now let's try. Look at this one. They numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to 8. How many questions in here?
Six question.
Okay. Yeah, actually, it's just only five because the
I
number six is a number of words, right? Okay, now let's try to discuss this one by one. Can you read this one, please?
I believe there were three main benefits. First,
Okay.
children always had all the children to play with in this in the same house, so they learn social
Social
skills.
skills. Okay.
Social skills.
Now, it mentioned about in the past?
Yes,
Yes. Okay. And it was mentioned about the social skills, meaning the way they greet, maybe the way they communicate, maybe the way they interact with each other is also one of the examples of a social skills, right? Okay, and
and they also quarrel
okay, is what are we going to do? Are we going to omit
and they quarrel
and they also
and they also quarrel, right?
quarreled? Okay. Yes. And they also quarreled. Of course, if you try to compare before, then, and now, it's just also the same, right? Because at the present time, um, children or members within the family also quarreled, right?
Yes,
Okay, because it's normal to brothers and sisters when you were young that you quarrel each other. So if you try to compare the social skills in the past, maybe there are changes, but still what they experience in the past, we experience at the present, right? But maybe a little bit maybe not actually 100% the same, but it's almost also the same. Okay, and then is it but or however?
but when they
Okay,
quarrel,
but then they quarreled.
they learn to defend themselves. Second,
Yes. Okay, now
children,
look. Yes. Okay, just stop for a while. Now look at this thought point. Okay, but when they quarreled, okay, this was in the past, huh? If you're talking in the past, when they quarreled, they learned to defend themselves. Why? Because during those times, families, especially the parents, especially the head of the family, who is the father, uh, taught children to defend themselves. Okay? So maybe why they quarreled, because they're teaching or adults teaching their children to defend themselves. But now, compared it now. why children or members of the family quarreled? What do you think are the main reasons why they quarreled? There are a lot also. Number one,
Because
if your brother or sister wanted to watch a different TV what is one TV program, and you wanted to watch that program, so that would be what?
what type of
The
quarrel?
start of quarreling, right? What else? What do you think?
When they quarrel, I think they have some different opinions.
Okay, yes, of course, right? You quarreled because you're not following the opinion of your brother or sister, right? Because you have your own opinion. Okay? Okay. Next. Secondly,
Secondly, children help in the health
hey,
and as a consequence they become more responsible.
yes. Where do you think is this? Is it in the past or is it at this time?
Hmm. This is still in the past.
Okay. And
And however,
okay, different.
different generations live together, so grandparents look after children and younger brother learns many things from the older brothers.
Others.
I think many of the disadvantages were beneficial.
Yes, financial. Okay, it's a financial
Firstly, one of the parents could make work because he or she has to
to
stay
stay
at
at
home
home.
and look after children and the grandparents. This means
Yes,
the family earns less
less
as a result. Parents have less money to pay for their children education and other
other
activities.
activities
However, in my view, the biggest problem was that parents could not pay so much attention
and to the individual.
to children. As a result, children with problems sometimes suffered.
Yes.
Opinion then
Okay, I want you to stop in there, Khoi. Okay. Um, what do you think? In my opinion, would be
personal.
okay. Yeah, I know that, but I'm asking. In my opinion, would be the end of an
Yeah.
essay. So this one would be the conclusion part. So from here, I believe up to suffered would be the body of the essay. Okay. And then from in my opinion, up to
Remember its
three,
conclusion.
never lonely would be the
Con-
conclusion part. Okay. So why is it we can say that this one is the conclusion part? Because there was the word in my opinion. Okay. I already explained this one to you last time, Koi, that in the conclusion, you can be able to what? To say something about your opinion. That's why my advice to you would be you can what? Maybe you can put some of the ideas in here in the, no, that's not. Okay. Yeah, this one. Okay. Some of the ideas in here, you have to put this one in the conclusion part, right? Okay. And let's continue. Now,
No.
this one is the opinion of the writer. Okay? This one is not the one that was happened in the past, but this one is just the opinion of the writer. That's why I just what I have told you, it's very important to what? To state that that would coming from your own opinion. Okay? Because the readers will not going to get angry with you if you are going to what? You are going to say, in my opinion. Okay? Okay. So in my opinion,
The advantages of large families were greater than the expense.
Disadvantages,
Families
yes.
had less money, but family members formed the stronger relationship
Relationship,
and they supported and helped each other when they had problems.
yes.
Also, people were always surrounded by their relatives, so they were never lonely.
Yes. Okay, now look at this one. According to the writer's opinion, did he was able to what is this one to tell
To feel
the readers about something that is negative?
positive.
Okay, the one, huh?
I think the writer praised the positivity of to being a part of larger family.
Yes. Okay, and look at this one. Um, the writer doesn't sound so what is one so very what is one the one that you said while ago, if I'm not mistaken, you
This is
yeah, okay, like having more children can be bring nothing but misery.
very
Okay, so just what I have told you, that maybe you can make sandwich technique, right? When
yes,
we say sandwich technique, it should be maybe you have to do the positive one and maybe a little bit about the negative one, but not too harsh. Because if you are going to use this one, this would be too harsh. Okay?
sure.
Okay. And that's it. So this one is a very good example of an essay type. But of course, I would like to make maybe a comment on this one, that in the conclusion part, you have to what? To separate this one with another paragraph. Okay? So, introduction, and then the body is just only paragraph, and then we have to also to separate with another paragraph for the conclusion. Okay, Koi? Now,
Yeah,
what have you observed in this particular essay, Koi? Now, remember, he uses
they use
first
words
is, yeah. He also use also. He also use however, right? He also use but. Okay, so why do we need to use all of them? What do
because
you think?
it will form a connection between phrases and sentences.
Yes, okay. In order to what? To point to our readers that these are connected. Okay? Or these are differences. These are the differences of the first maybe first sentence from the second sentence, or from the second sentence from the first sentence. So there are connections. Therefore, we use consequently, we use however, okay, we use firstly, secondly, okay, we use in my opinion. So those are words that we can also use in this particular um, writing essay. And look at this one. Is this particular essay, do you think will be very, very long? Or it's just only not too long, not short. It's just the normal one.
A normal one.
Yes. Okay. That's why I'm telling you, if we try to apply the tips that we had seen in the video, this one is the best essay, because this is just only the normal one. Not too long, not too worthy, because it's direct to the point, right? And we can see in here that he uses simple words, right? Simple words that of course the reader can understand and can grasp this one easily. Okay, Koi? Okay, so do you have any questions with this?
No question.
No more. Okay, now let's move on. So let's try to read the sample answer again and complete this essay plan by writing phrases A H in gaps 1 to 8. Okay, number one, paragraph one. So this happens in the paragraph one in the introduction part, right?
family
Families,
smaller,
families smaller. So,
different experience.
okay, it's a different experience. Why is it that it's a different experience? So let's try to go back in here, right? Okay, so family life in the modern world is not the same experience as in the past. So where can we find that one? Family smaller. So is it different experience?
No, I think yes, because family in modern world is much more smaller than
Okay, so it's a different experience, not the same experience, right? Because the same experience is none in the past, okay? And not in the present time. Okay, next. Paragraph 2, advantages.
play.
Played, so,
So look after young kids.
okay. Advantages,
Ah,
huh? We're
learn
talking
so
about advantages.
learn social skill.
So, play with the same house, so they learn social skills. Advantages, so that would be in the,
Finish.
wait. So, played paragraph 2, advantages. Wait. Let's try to analyze first, okay? Here. Okay. So, what do you think would be is that? You're right. Okay. So,
So
they learn
social.
social skills. So, that would be advantages or advantage. Okay.
Yes.
So, they learn
Social.
look after social skills rather. Okay, next. What about number 3? So, learn
Three
social skills.
help in house, so more responsible. And
Okay,
rent
help in the house. So more responsible grandparents.
look after young kids.
Oh, yes. Okay, and then the paragraph 3 would be the disadvantages, right? So
Yes.
one parent,
Didn't work, less money. Less
okay,
money
didn't work. If they didn't work, so there would be less money. So less money for kids' education, less
and less support less
and
attention
help.
to
Okay. Yes, the less support and help for each child. And then in the paragraph 4, which is the conclusion part, my opinion, more
more
advantages because family gave,
support and help.
okay?
People never lonely.
So never lonely.
Yes.
Okay. So actually, what do you think are this one, Koi? So these are just showing keywords that you need to understand in the essay. Huh? So remember that one. If there are questions or guide questions like this, or maybe you have to supply words or in the missing words in that particular statements, maybe, so you can use this technique. Koi. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Next. Now answer these questions, then read the writing task below. And number 1.
Which of the words can be used to begin sentence? Also and but however.
Mhm.
Hmm. I think
Okay.
oh,
Which of these words can be used to begin sentences?
also and no also.
Okay.
However.
Okay. Okay. Can you use that in a sentence?
What?
Can you use however in a sentence?
However, in the park, most people live in small village where everyone knew. Every,
Yes. Okay. So the word however can be used to begin a sentence, right?
yes,
Aside from however, Can we also say also?
Can I also bird? I think bird
Okay.
also be to begin in sentence.
Okay. Would you kindly use also? Have you seen in here that we use also to begin a sentence?
Yeah, I see.
Where
I
is that?
number four,
Okay.
number four also, and number five.
Okay.
No, I don't think number five. Uh, number eight.
Also, people, yes, that's correct. We're all surrounded by our relatives. Okay, so we can use also to begin a sentence, right? Okay, what about when I say but?
No, I think birds. Um, a camel come before birds.
Yes,
Not a
okay.
dog.
Because it's a what? It's a what do you this one? Not the comparison, but this one is the contracting ideas, right? So
Idea.
maybe it's the positive one and the negative one because you put a but in there, right? Okay. What about when we say and?
No.
Yes, because and means to connect two positive ideas together, right? Let's say, for
Yeah.
example, brother and sister. Okay, so there would be connection. There would be connection with two words in the sentence. So we cannot use and to begin a sentence. Okay, next. Number two, Koi.
With word join two sentences.
Yes,
And
which words join two sentences?
two words. There are two words.
Yes. Which word?
And bird.
Okay, it's the and. Okay. And we can also use but, right? In order to join two sentences. But of course, again, I'm going to what is on to point out that also is different in use with but. Okay? Okay, write about the following topic. In the past, most people lived in small villages where everyone knew everyone else. Nowadays, most people live in large cities where they only know a few people in their area. So, guide questions. What do you think were the advantages and disadvantages to living in a small community? And give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge and experience. Now, another writing activity is this one, Koi. Okay? But of course, I'm going to give you time to do this, huh? This would be
Homework.
homework. Yes. Okay? Because we do have only 5 minutes more left. So you are going to write this one and okay, look at the examples in here. Do I have to give you this one? Do I have to send this one to you? Or do you have a copy of this?
No need.
No need. Okay. So, what you're going to do is you're going to elaborate this one. Again, remember that in writing this one, actually, Koi, this one can be part of
A part of my essay.
the introduction.
Okay.
Okay. So this one is can be part of the introduction because um there are keywords in here that we need to elaborate in the body part. Okay? And what are those? Again, remember, it's in the past, the people who lived in
Small village.
small villages where everyone knew everyone else. So you have to what? You have to explore people living in a small villages. Why? Because everyone knew everyone else. So why is it in a small villages everyone knew everyone else? Okay, and then compare that one
with
to people that live in large cities where they only know a few people in the area. So, what do you think would be the advantages and disadvantages of that? Live in a small community. And you have to include relevant examples from your own knowledge and experience. That means that would be in the conclusion part. You need to give your own examples, okay, from your own knowledge and experience.
yeah.
So, what are you going to do? Okay, again, you have to write whatever you think in your mind. And then after that, analyze by putting that into words, into writing. Now, which do you think are and suited in this
Good.
particular um, topic to put that one out? Okay. So whatever you think, okay, there in your mind, write it down. And then after that, develop it, okay, into writing. Now, exam advice. Read.
Question carefully first and make sure you know what you must write about.
Yes, okay. That is why I want you to analyze very carefully what you are going to do in here. I already given you my point of view, Koi.
Yes.
Small villages, everyone knew everyone else. Large cities,
Bus.
they only know a few people. And why? Why is it that those who are living, those people who are living in large cities, they don't know only a few people they know. Okay?
Yes.
Compared to small villages that almost everyone knew everyone else. So you need to elaborate that one further. And in your writing, in your essay, you have to include also the advantages and disadvantages of living in a small community.
Okay.
Okay? Oh, now, I'm going to give you a tip. This one is part of your introduction. You just have to elaborate this one a little bit, huh? But do not give more information on your introduction. Okay? Because here we can see the thesis statements in here that you need to elaborate in your body. Okay? And in your body, elaborate. What are you going to elaborate? Small villages that everyone knew everyone else. And then people in the large cities where they only know a few people. Okay, Koi? And after giving all of that, maybe you can compare the people from small villages and the people from large cities. And after that, give the advantages and disadvantages of living a small community. And after giving that, give your conclusion. Okay? Conclude it, including relevant examples from your own knowledge and
Deep
experience. And get this one point.
brainstorm idea before you start and make a plan.
Yes, that's why brainstorm ideas first before you start and make a plan. That's why I'm telling you, whatever comes in your mind, write it down. Okay? And then after that, decide which do you think would be the best words. Okay, that is suited in this particular essay. And then after that,
We
write
essay follow the
your plan. Okay, so write your essay following your plan. Again, remember again, Koi, in order. That means you need to write in proper sequence or order. Okay,
yeah.
again, sometimes there are title, okay, but most of the time There are no titles at all. Okay. So again, you have to have the introduction, then you need to have a body, and on the third paragraph, maybe, would be your own opinion. And again, remember, in giving your own opinion, please use the sandwich technique. Okay, positive, a little bit of
Negative.
negative. Okay, do not instruct your readers about harsh words. Okay,
Yes.
so that would be your homework. So do I have to send this one to the chat or no need?
Oh, please send it to me.
Okay, so I'm going to send it to you to remind you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So do you have any questions, Koi, before we have to say goodbye?
No question.
No question at all. So thank you so much for your time. Good evening and have a good night. And see you again next meeting. Bye for now.
Yeah, goodbye, teacher. Have a good night.
Okay. Bye bye.